Assalamu alaikum fam, hope you're doing well. So let's dig into it. We have gotten into how Malik, he's out of the picture, Zarar ended him, Layla is now the wife of Khalid, Umar is upset, Abu Bakr has called Khalid to be spoken to. So that's where we are. Let's begin. Now, Khalid had come to know of the resentment that his actions has aroused. He shrugged it off with the words, "When Allah decides a matter, it is done." Anyway, a little criticism did not worry Khalid. Then came the summons of the Caliph to present himself at Medina. Khalid guessed that it was connected with the allegations against him and was now more than a little worried. So, Abu Bakr's in Medina, he's calling Khalid to account. On arrival at Medina, Khalid went straight to the mosque. And in those early days, the mosque was not merely a place of worship, it was also a meeting place, an assembly hall, a school, a place of rest, and the center of civic activity. Khalid was wearing an arrow in his turban as an adornment. Oh, that's cool! Here's the arrow. That's pretty cool. And this made him look a bit of a dandy. Oh, I know what a dandy is. So, if you were Italian and you had a feather, they say you look a little bit of a dandy. It's a little bit of like a decorative thing in your hair or on your hat area. For most Muslims preferred simplicity in their dress and avoided all forms of ostentation. Umar was in the mosque and saw Khalid. Livid with anger, he walked up to Khalid, tore the arrow from Khalid's turban, and broke it in two. Oh, snap! Every time I read something about Umar, you're like, he's like, he's very right there, right? Didn't he? I saw a hadith where he hit Abu Huraira, right? Oh man! And now he goes up to Khalid. Think about it. Think about that you're going up to somebody who is a proven battle-tested warrior. Somebody who is not afraid to do what they gotta do. That's a pretty interesting situation to watch. Two very strong men come together and then he does that to him. Because it's, imagine, what would you do, It's interesting. "You killed a Muslim and snatched his wife," Umar shouted. "You ought to be stoned to death." Khalid knew that Umar had much influence with Abu Bakr, and fearing the Caliph might have similar opinions, he turned away in silence. He next went to see Abu Bakr, who demanded an explanation. Khalid told him the whole story. After due consideration, the Caliph decided that Khalid was not guilty. He did, however, upbraid his general for marrying Layla and thus leaving himself open to criticism. And since there was some possibility of a mistake, as certain people believed that Malik was a Muslim, Abu Bakr ordered the payment of blood money to the heirs of Malik. Okay, so that is interesting because the blood money is also something that I read in the time of Draco in Greece. So the blood money is something very common. Very common. I know that some Republican Christians criticize Islam for having blood payments, but that's just because they've failed to examine the Greeks and the Macedonians and such. Khalid came out of the house of the Caliph. His step was light and his manner carefree as he walked to the mosque where Umar sat conversing with some friends. This time Khalid was more sure of his position and could afford to repay the compliment. Let's see. He called to Umar, "Come to me, O left-handed one." Okay. Umar guessed that the Caliph had acquitted Khalid. He stood up and without a word marched off to his house. oh my gosh. Dang. That is like a cool situation. You're glad that they got along, right? But some people have told me, one person said that I remind them of Umar, but I was like, oh, in Umar, he got stabbed, right? So I don't want to get stabbed. But this is very cool, the relationship between these two. And Abu Bakr having to deal with these two powerful people whom he's very, connected with, not getting along. Oh, that would have been so cool to see that though. And then it kind of Umar's like, I'm leaving, which is it's pretty nice, you know. He's like, he broke the arrow. Like, I don't know. I just really wish I could have seen what that would have been like, right? To just kind of see Umar go up to Khalid and take that off and break it, you know. This matter of Malik and Layla had been the subject of much dispute in Muslim history. Dang, I wonder what she looked like. Some quoting sources like Abu Qatada have said that the household of Malik had called the Adhan and that Malik had returned to the faith before he was taken captive. Others have said that Khalid never ordered the killing of Malik, that the wealthier was chilly and Khalid had said, warm your prisoners. That in certain dialects the same word is used to denote warming and killing, thus Zarar misunderstood Khalid's orders and went and killed Malik. Interesting. Oh, interesting. So Zarar, he could have, had a misunderstanding, but at the same time, should you? I mean, look at it this way. Malik, he is a recent convert. It wasn't right, maybe, if he was a Muslim and Khalid took that choice, but Khalid has proven himself. He's more valuable than Malik. I don't know. Should you just to abuse Khalid over a woman, over some chick? It seems not fair. Who is she? She's just some lady. You cannot It was like, okay, the move of like, oh, a dead Muslim's wife. Well, she's single now. She's gonna want a husband, so there you go. Well. I mean, why turn away one of your best soldiers for the sake of a woman who is a widow? And the guy, Malik, who only maybe might have surrendered because he lost his ally, because he allied with Sajah, and Sajah, the impostress, was taken a fool by the other imposter, Muawiyah, whatever his name was. I keep pronouncing it wrong. But, I mean, come on. You look at the situation here. Why would you punish Khalid over that? But, honor plays a role. I get it, These versions of the story are, in all probability, not true. They have been offered by factions, one to explain away Umar's hostility towards Khalid and the other to clear Khalid of the possibility of guilt of murdering a Muslim. There is no doubt about the apostasy and sedition of Malik bin Nuwayriya. His distribution of the tax money, his pact with Sajah, and the participation of his warriors on his orders in the depredations of Sajah. I mean, exactly. All historians have, without exception, reported these incidents as facts. There is also no doubt in the mind of this writer that Khalid ordered the killing of Malik, and so did... so he ordered the killing, but he was an enemy not too long ago. Yes, Khalid was once on the opposite side, but at this point in time, he has some seniority, The honest and sincere conviction that Malik was an apostate and a traitor. But suspicion continued to lurk in the minds of some Arabs, certainly in the mind of Umar, that this was a crime de passion. Oh, de passion. So it's like a love crime. I don't know. But we didn't live back then. Maybe Umar saw something in Khalid, but wouldn't so many women have been presenting themselves to Khalid? You know what I'm saying? Would he really have taken out a dude just for that woman when so many women were probably offering themselves to him? Umar was further encouraged in this belief by the brother of Malik, who came to see him and told him what a wonderful man Malik was and how tragic it was that he had fallen to a victim of Khalid's lust. Nah, I don't think. Yeah, I don't personally know Khalid, obviously, but I don't know, because it doesn't mention her beauty. Do any accounts mention her beauty? Because I feel like if she's some extravagant beauty, then you'd be like, okay, maybe. But the long and short of the whole affair was that Malik was killed, and the beautiful Layla, because she has the gorgeous eyes and the lovely legs, became the wife of Khalid bin al-Waleed. He would one day pay a very high price for the pleasure. So, Okay, so there is the things about her body and lovely legs, but hmm, I mean, what are you gonna do? You know, she had some attraction, but I mean, Malik was on the losing side too. She kind of got a better deal, you know. Her husband, she could have gone down with the ship, but they weren't gonna take her out. And she's like, okay, your husband's dead. You can marry this very formidable masculine warrior who's a Muslim. I mean, can you blame her? You know, and if she didn't want it, she could have said no. You know, she could have said no. She didn't say no. She said yes. So, very interesting. But again, Abu Bakr, I think, made the right decision. Umar was potent to point that out. Like, hey, you gotta watch out. He did, uh, after those Muslims, after those people said they were Muslims and they submitted, Khalid killed them anyways. But Khalid did have a point to say, hey, can we trust them? And then it's like, yeah, you don't know the content of their heart. It's a difficult situation, right? But the uh, the arrow of being torn from the turban and breaking it in two, I mean, is interesting. So, wow, we definitely learned a lot, didn't we? But so far, with the way in which the author has described the character of Khalid, he doesn't seem as susceptible to that. You know? He's not like a little boy or something. What do you think, fam?